see you, and welcome back to Fountains. I remember you in my first year. I think you were in my first ever prefect team in weird COVID time. Have you been back since?
No, I haven't actually. It's my first time back. It's great. It hasn't changed too much.
Okay. Well, you mustn't leave it so long next time. We'd love to have you back. If I could start by asking you, if you could sort of highlight, and you sort of talked a little bit about this in your bio, if you could sort of highlight three things that you sort of learned, whether it's sort of values or skills at Farrington, which have really served you well, both in terms of your time at university, professionally, what would they be?
So I'll say the three things that I've kind of come across here in Farrington is the community and the people that I had around me, especially the teachers. The way that they kind of push you is definitely something that I kind of internalized, and that's something I kind of went into uni constantly pushing myself, trying to be better. That's definitely something that I valued here when I got from Farrington. As well as 100% the EPQ, that kind of learning how to structure yourself, because outside of school time, where you always have like lessons that are scheduled for you and everything, then having to do that but for yourself outside of school is where I think it's something I've carried along with me all the way, because that meant at uni I was always kind of structured with how I took on opportunities for myself and how I went about learning stuff.
Great, that's fantastic. I think I remember coming to your EPQ in the library, actually. No, brilliant. And obviously lots of Year 13s here are right in the middle of that whole application process for university. So if you sort of cast your mind back, obviously you went to Sheffield. But what was the sort of priority for you? Were you thinking it's all about the course? Is it about the location? What was the big priority for you at the time?
So there were loads of things kind of playing in my mind. I think for me, I was so adamant on studying economics, and especially with someone who doesn't have like a maths A level, that was always going to be like an initial challenge. So what I kind of started looking at first was what universities still allow me to do economics without a maths A level, and how they kind of catered for that kind of difference. So Sheffield kind of stood out just because they offered like a module for people who didn't have maths A level, kind of just catching you up almost. So that was something that that really made Sheffield step out for me. As well as the cost, if I'm being honest. Because I feel like being a student in London, for all my friends who I've seen kind of been in London, is something that is a different kind of experience to have than if you went outside of London. I also just wanted to experience life outside of London, which I think Sheffield was great. It's also close to many other major cities like Manchester and Birmingham. So it's always very easy for me to just kind of experience a lot more of the UK rather than just staying in London my whole time here.
Great stuff. And I enjoyed listening to you speak earlier in Chapel. It sounds like you really threw yourself into life at university, American football being a big feature. Were there any challenges? Were there things that really surprised you when you sort of reflect on your first term, your first year at university, that you hadn't expected, that you wish you'd maybe known before you went?
I'll probably say my first year was, I didn't, I think, throw myself in it as much in my first year. And that's something, because no one will come up to you being like, do this, do that. Obviously they hold fairs and everything in university, but you have to be the one to kind of go there and do that. Because I think here, something we didn't like sit for was the enrichment days, when you actually get to know everyone and everything. In university, like there is no one kind of doing that for you. So you have to really take a lot of self-responsibility in terms of putting your energy where you want it to go and trying to like develop a relationship and also developing yourself. So I think that's something that kind of threw me off university, just the fact that there's no one there telling you what to do.
Yeah, it's down to you to make your own.
Yeah,
absolutely. And at what point would you say during your time at university did you really start giving serious thought to jobs and sort of careers and life beyond university? Was it like you, what I need to be thinking about what I'm going to do in the summer holiday, or was it a bit of a mad panic in year 3 and think, right, I'm going to need to find a job?
I feel like it's a bit of a mix of both. I think for me it's also like in my first year I kind of knew that jobs, is going to be something, but it just felt like so long away. This is one of the things that just comes at you so quickly. So it's like when you least expect it, you'll be looking at, oh gosh, like there's like past uni, like I have to start thinking about this. So it was also my second year that I started giving thought to it. I was looking for like summer internships and like placement new opportunities. That's when I kind of given it thought. If I was like to give advice, I would say 100% like go in first year. It's so easy because you have so much extra time. So put in that energy to trying to find something. It doesn't have to be like what you'd want to go into as a career, but just getting that experience of working in a professional environment is just so important, I think.
And what support did you get from the university in terms of careers and everything else in terms of advice?
So I think I went to the University Career Service, and they kind of had the CV templates and they held workshops. I think what probably pushed me, helped me a bit more was the societies I joined. So I was part of like the Investment Society and Economic Society, and they also had like partners, sponsors who would come in and also give kind of talks about how to deal with assessment centres and how to structure a CV, how to like, target firms and everything like that.
And on that note, in terms of interviews, did you have a whole load of interviews that you weren't successful with before you got your first job, or how did it all unfold for you?
So I think for me, my job that I've got now is actually the first like in-person interview I've ever done. And the other interviews I have done were kind of like virtual interviews or ones where you just kind of record yourself to a question. And looking back, I think that was such a distant service to the applicant just because you didn't really get to put yourself across like your whole self when it came to how you the applications. In terms of like the in-person interviews, when you actually get to sit across with someone and have a talk with them, that's where I think I excelled a bit better. 100%.
And is there any advice that you give based on all of that to everyone here in terms of putting together that CV, in terms of interviewing, whether it's, because a lot of it is done online initially or the face-to-face, but what tips would you give?
I'll say make your CV specific to the job that you're applying to. I had like 5 or 6 separate CVs just for each specific company or sector I wanted to go into. In the online ones, with the if they're recorded, you have to try and structure your interview answer before you start recording them. And if it's like a virtual, like on a Zoom meeting or something, definitely have like good like small talk kind of skills. Because when it comes to who your interviewers, you have to think that they've done this hundreds and hundreds of times. So being able to kind of make yourself stand out is very important. And it'll just leave that good lasting memory of yourself in them. So that's what I was going to say to do.
Thank you. So you also MX underwriting. What does your day job look like? Does it vary? No 2 days are the same, or is it what was it your role entail?
So MX underwriting, I was trying to say, so you kind of have a client, a broker, and an underwriter. So the broker kind of acts like a middleman, and then the underwriter's role is to like price risk. So a client would need specific coverage for something. It could be like a development that they're building, or like an M&A transaction. So my day-to-day role is trying to price that and also still remain competitive, because at the end of the day they're also contacting other insurers. So it's like, how do I charge the correct price for my insurer, but also beating everyone else, like kind of beating the market and winning the business. So just a lot of reading reports, trying to find specific legal positions, calling brokers, and like networking actually,
And what are those key skills you're going to be doing? I don't know, mergers and acquisitions, and those, what are those key skills that have really served you well, would you say?
Definitely like analytical thinking, like just not taking anything at face value, especially when it comes to how they present information. I think they'll normally try to present information one way just to not make you kind of think, but you also have to like look under the hood. That's something that I feel like is a very key skill. Interpersonal skills is also really important, just because you've been calling clients quite a lot, and you're also just with your broker calls and communicating with emails, it's very good to have like, great interpersonal skills. You won't have to be like good at maths. It always sounds super mathsy, but you don't have to be like great at maths. Like I wasn't great at maths. It's more so just how your mindset, how you approach the risk and everything. That's definitely like a top skill, I'd say. And then also transferable skills. So you might not have like the econ or finance degree, but it's like how you apply what you do have that matters, I think.
Great, thank you. One final question then, Daniel. If you could leave the year 13 with one final message this afternoon, what would it be? The killer question.
I'd probably say is honestly keep going. It's one of those things where you will get like rejection after rejection after rejection. It's just how you get back up. I think that's the most important thing. Like you see just Alexander, but there's so many failed interviews behind that you don't see. And I think that's kind of what makes you more of a person than just getting that kind of headline title. It's just to keep going, how you approach those failures, how you get back up.
Resilience. Yeah. Great. Let's give him a round of applause. Thanks so much.